is Tom Sorensen. I'm an analyst here at Hyperion Research. Today we're going to be talking about the evolving use of AI in HPC, some of the market circumstances and user behaviors associated with the confluence of these two technologies. So AI in HPC is a maturing practice. Over the last year and a half, there was this explosion of excitement and willingness to integrate AI into traditional HPC workflows. And as more projects enter production level and as integration efforts continue and are fine-tuned, there are perspectives, standards, and challenges and concerns that come more into focus and rise to the top of mind. And some of these, for example, would be how to efficiently identify and procure resources that would meet the requirements presented by AI models being used in this way, as well as how extensively should cloud resources be used ideally in an environment like this, and the comprehensive navigation of regulatory guidelines, which at times can be domain specific, region specific, and so on. There have been many realized advantages from many industries and application spaces, but as this continues, users are more realistically beginning to assess their challenges, and the challenges are becoming more well defined. Concerns about high cost of upkeep, the infrastructural needs presented by running and scaling up AI models, as well as the continued education of in-house expertise, how to attract expertise, and how to set up users for success when using an integrated AI into a traditional HPC workflow. So the Hyperion Research AI forecasts are still being fine-tuned. There are many elements of this ecosystem that are in flux. One, for example, would be the almost inflated use of cloud resources for exploratory or pilot projects. There is the continued assessment of appropriate hardware and software application in a vast, very varied software environment, and there are many hardware resources being presented as AI focused, and matching up an application's needs with a hardware software architecture that is appropriate takes a lot of time and effort for users and organizations, especially when integration is a new process, as well as kind of the ambient element of hastened accelerator and GPU release cycles from suppliers, and the general tension in the semiconductor, uncertainty in the semiconductor market as well. And here on this table, we can see from a recent study of 100 HPC users who are integrating AI into their workflows, exploration in exploring the range of potential performance enhancements, exploring in-house requirements, testing and assessing integrated workload performance. Many users are still in an exploratory, experimental, and pilot phase. This is still an area that is under investigation for many HPC users. So in response to this explosion of excitement and willingness to integrate, Hyperion Research started a series of studies focusing on AI in HPC, what users are doing, how organizations are reacting, and refocusing their efforts in light of this. We started with an LLM study. We did a study on AI in the cloud, how cloud resources are being leveraged. Most recently, we finished our study focusing on inferencing, the importance of inferencing, how it's being provisioned and budgeted, and so on, what expectations there are. And coming soon is our return on investment or ROI study, which is really going to nail down users and their expectations, how how their expectations are being met, if they are being met, what type of returns of efficiency, monetary, and so on are really being realized. So from that inferencing study, some of the key findings here, users most frequently indicated that they are still exploring and experimenting with AI-centric options, both in the cloud and on-prem. The cloud is receiving some prominent use as a kind of a test bed for these types of projects. Their primary concerns, as we can see on this table down here, are the complexity of integration, the cost of hardware and software to meet their needs, and the potential technical issues presented with these projects. HPC users report nearly an even split between on-premises and cloud budgeting, which is higher than expected. Then that reflects the use of cloud resources as for their exploration, for their experimentation, and the plurality of software resources being used to support AI inferencing is open source. There is a very varied and rich ecosystem of open source resources to meet these types of needs. Again, from this study, the 5-year anticipated percent of overall advanced computing budget for inferencing, we can see that there is a considerable amount of advanced computing budget being relegated to AI inferencing. Almost 10% of users are going to be budgeting more than 50% of their advanced computing budget for inferencing alone, which is quite considerable. Many of these users identified inferencing as very important into their current workflows. So I mentioned earlier our ROI study, which is very exciting. We think that this is going to be a high area of importance moving forward as AI and HPC matures. To what extent did integrating generative AI models into your HPC workload environment meet performance and cost expectations? We're trying to identify to what extent the expectations were met. How have budgetary plans changed over the last 12 to 18 months as expectations are met, exceeded, fail to meet expectations, and so on? Is there more confidence? Is there less confidence? What measurable monetary gains have been made from this integration? How long will it take to recover from the initial investment into this integration? And to what degree will you expand or contract Gen AI development, if at all, moving forward? So with that, that's my time. We're very excited about the maturation of this technology. More ground truths are being realized every day, and we are really keeping a bead on what users are doing, what organizations are doing, and how they're kind of managing these expectations with the real budgetary investments and labor investments made into integration efforts. So here's my email. Please reach out, questions, concerns, comments. I would love to hear from you and hear what you have to say. And with that, please have a great day. Thank you very much.